Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig. Marcus Aurelius. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Book 1. From my grandfather Verus I learned good morals and the government of my temper. From the reputation and remembrance of my father, modesty and a manly character. From my mother, piety and beneficence, and abstinence not only from evil deeds, but even from evil thoughts. And further, simplicity in my way of living, far removed from the habits of the rich. From my great-grandfather, not to have frequented public schools, and to have had good teachers at home, and to know that on such things a man should spend liberally. From my governor, to be neither of the green nor of the blue party at the games in the circus, nor a partisan either of the Parmularius or the Scutarius at the gladiators' fights. From him too I learned endurance of labor, and to want little, and to work with my own hands, and not to meddle with other people's affairs, and not to be ready to listen to slander. From Diognetus I learned not to busy myself about trifling things, and not to give credit to what was said by miracle workers and jugglers about incantations and the driving away of demons and the like, and not to breed quails for fighting, nor to give myself up passionately to such things, and to endure freedom of speech, and to have become intimate with philosophy, and to have been a hearer first of Bacchius, then of Tandasis and Marcianus, and to have written dialogues in my youth, and to have desired a plank bed and skin, and whatever else belongs to the Grecian discipline. From Rusticus I received the impression that my character required improvement and discipline. And from him I learned not to be led astray into sophistic emulation, nor to writing on speculative matters, nor to delivering little hortatory orations, nor to showing myself off as a man who practices much discipline, or does benevolent acts in order to make a display, and to abstain from rhetoric and poetry and fine writing, and not to walk about in the house in my outdoor dress, nor to do other things of the kind, and to write my letters with simplicity, like the letter which Rusticus wrote from Sinuessa to my mother. From Rusticus also I learned to be easily reconciled and reconciled to those who have offended me, and to be ready to forgive as soon as they are willing to return, and to read carefully, and not to be satisfied with a superficial understanding of a book, nor hastily to give my assent to those who talk overmuch. And I am indebted to him for being acquainted with the discourses of Epictetus, which he communicated to me out of his own collection. From Apollonius I learned freedom of will and undeviating steadiness of purpose, and to look to nothing else, not even for a moment, except to reason, and to be always the same in sharp pains, on the occasion of the loss of a child, and in long illness, and to see clearly in a living example that the same man can be both most resolute and yielding, and not to be peevish in giving instruction, and to have had before my eyes a man who clearly considered his experience and his skill in explaining philosophical principles as the smallest of his merits. And from him I learned how to receive from friends what are esteemed favors, without either being humbled by them or letting them pass unnoticed. From Sextus I learned a benevolent disposition, and the example of a family governed in a fatherly manner, and the idea of living conformably to nature, and gravity without affectation, and to look carefully after the interests of friends, and to tolerate ignorant persons and those who form opinions without consideration. He had the power of accommodating himself to all, so that intercourse with him was more agreeable than any flattery, and at the same time he was most highly venerated by those who associated with him. He had the faculty both of discovering and ordering, in an intelligent and methodical way, the principles necessary for life. He never showed anger or any other passion, but was entirely free from passion, and also most affectionate. He could express approval without noisy display, and he possessed much knowledge without ostentation. From Alexander the Grammarian, I learned not to find fault with people for a barbarous or awkward or strange expression, but skillfully to introduce the very expression which ought to have been used, and this in the way of answer or giving confirmation, or joining in an inquiry about the thing itself rather than about the word, or by some other fit suggestion. From Fronto, I learned to observe what envy, duplicity, and hypocrisy are in a tyrant, and that generally those among us who are called persons of rank are rather deficient in natural affection. From Alexander the Platonist, I learned not frequently, nor without necessity, to say to anyone, or to write in a letter, that I have no leisure, nor continually to excuse the neglect of duties required by our relations to those who live with us by alleging urgent occupations. From Catulus, I learned not to be indifferent when a friend finds fault, even if he should find fault without reason, but to try to restore him to his usual disposition, and to be ready to speak well of my teachers, as it is reported of Domitius and Athenodotus, and to love my children truly. From my brother Severus, I learned to love my kin, to love truth, and to love justice. And through him I came to know Thrasea, Helvidius, Cato, Dio, and Brutus. And from him I received the idea of a state in which there is the same law for all, a state administered with regard to equal rights and equal freedom of speech, and of a monarchy which values above all the liberty of the governed. From my brother Severus, I also learned a steady and unwavering devotion to philosophy, generosity in giving, hopefulness, and confidence in the affection of my friends. He was frank in expressing both approval and disapproval, so that those who knew him never had to guess what he thought or intended. From Maximus, I learned self-government, not to be led aside by anything, cheerfulness in all circumstances, as well as in illness, a character blending dignity with kindness, to do what was set before me without complaining, and to inspire confidence that whatever I said I truly believed, and whatever I did with good intent. I learned from him never to be surprised or astonished, never to be in haste, never to be discouraged or despondent, never to assume an air of false cheerfulness, and never to be angry or suspicious. He was a man ready to do good, quick to forgive, incapable of falsehood, presenting the appearance of one who had grown beyond faults rather than one who had been corrected. No one ever thought that Maximus looked down on him, nor did anyone dare to think himself a better man than Maximus. He also possessed a graceful sense of humor. In my father, I observed mildness of temper and unshaken firmness in decisions deliberately formed, modesty in all things that are commonly admired, love of labor and perseverance, readiness to listen to those who had anything to propose for the common good, steadfastness in giving to every man according to his deserts, experience in knowing when it was necessary to be severe and when gentle. I learned from him to put an end to all passion for boys, to feel that I was a member of the community, not to excuse myself from public duties, even when I might reasonably have done so, to avoid excessive luxury in food, dress, building, and all such matters. He rose early, worked diligently, and arranged affairs carefully and methodically. He never sought popular applause, nor did he pursue novelty or display. He used the comforts of life without pride when they were available, and without regret when they were absent. No one could say of him that he was merely clever, or subtle, or a pedant. Rather, he was recognized as mature, complete, free from vanity, and capable of directing both his own affairs and those of others. He honored genuine philosophers, yet was not carried away by pretenders to philosophy. He was gracious in conversation, pleasant without excess, and took proper care of his body, not from vanity or self-indulgence, but so that illness rarely prevented him from fulfilling his duties. He was free from envy toward those who possessed any special ability, whether in eloquence, law, morals, or any other field. On the contrary, he encouraged each of them, and took pleasure in seeing every person honored according to his merit. He observed the ancient customs of his ancestors without ostentation and without making a display of preserving old traditions. He was not changeable or inconsistent, but loved to remain in the same places and occupations. After severe attacks of headache, he returned immediately to his usual work with renewed energy. His private affairs were few and simple, and he managed them with little effort. He acted neither for the applause of the crowd nor to win favor, but always with reason, justice, and steadiness. He knew how to enjoy leisure without becoming idle, and how to labor without complaint. He was moderate in every aspect of life, and remained the same man in prosperity and adversity. Such was the character of my father, whose example taught me how a ruler should govern himself before attempting to govern others. Continue with Book 2 to discover the next reflections of Marcus Aurelius.